you guys are getting a notification from somebody you don't even know on YouTube. Who the hell is Ken Paichi? Who is that guy? If you're an anime fan, you know that it's Ken Paichi from Bleach. But anyway, hope you all are doing well. I know it's been a while. Last time I used my phone to record, and then I had a cold, so it sounded pretty crappy. Audio sounds pretty crappy today because I'm still using my phone. I'm at home, nowhere near studio, but just wanted to comment on a couple things. I had some audio prepared already to do a few days ago, but then the story about the rapper Webby comes out. If you're not familiar with Webby, the rapper, he found a young lady in one of his son's bedroom. She was 14 years old. It was 4 a.m, along with his 2 sons and 2 other men. They were all in the bedroom, apparently, well, allegedly running a train on the young lady. But Webby has not said whether anything sexual was going on, but you can at least assume that something was about to happen. But the title of this podcast is Every Woman Has a Hoe Phase, or at least every sexually active woman has a hoe phase. So yeah, I did touch on rapper Webby a little bit. Like I said, he caught 2 of his sons and 2 more boys with a young girl. I think she was 14 years old. And his sons and the 2 other men, I think they're all around the same age. Webby caught them in the bedroom, 4 a.m. And, I just started thinking, women complain about how some men only see them for one thing, and that's sex. And it's because a lot of women are only good for one thing. A lot of young boys, their first experience is with women who are considered fast, who are the hoes in the neighborhood. That's known around the neighborhood as fast or easy. Now, the 14-year-old girl that was caught by Webby in his home, like I said, she wasn't kidnapped. They didn't hold a gun to her head. She was over a boy's house at 3 and 4 a.m. in the bedroom. So she was definitely trying to get fucked. Don't know if she got fucked or not, but she was definitely trying to get fucked. And I guarantee you it wasn't her first time. A lot of fathers watching this right now, they're probably angry at me, especially if you have daughters, but you know how the game is, fellas. You were young once. You were chasing hoes in the neighborhood once. That young lady you were fucking with as a teenager, she was another man's daughter. That chick that had the reputation. She was somebody's daughter. So you know how the game is, fellas. If you got daughters, hey, if you feel offended by this, you know how the game is. All right. Got another quick story, as a matter of fact. Speaking of 14-year-old young ladies trying to get it on, one of my best friends was telling me years ago about how his neighbor caught his 15-year-old daughter and her 14-year-old friend in his basement, getting a train ran on them. You heard me? A train. These 14, 15-year-old girls were in his basement, the basement of this guy, my friend's neighbor, in their own dad's house, getting a train ran on them. He said it was about 10 men and 2 girls in the basement. Some of these guys were waiting in a line, just waiting for their turn. And some were sitting on the couch with the dicks out ready to do some pounding. He saw all this going down in his basement. He couldn't believe his eyes. And, of course, the father got angry and kicked everybody out. I don't know exactly how he went about that. I don't know if he called the police. I don't know if these girls got their ass whipped. I don't know what punishment came behind that. But, can you imagine your 14, 15-year-old daughter butt-ass naked in the basement of your house just getting pounded out by damn near a dozen men? That is disturbing to me. But it's happening. It happened back in the day. It's still happening today. I think it's happening more so today. Unfortunately, that's a reality for a lot of fathers. The sad part about young women like these 14 and 15-year-old girls, these women, they grow up to be your girlfriends, your wives, and the mothers of your children. I know a lot of you fellas, you're looking at your girlfriend right now, you're looking at your wife, your fiance or whatever, and think that she doesn't have a whorish bone in her body. But I got a reality check for you fellas. She's been through her whole phase, more than likely. She has been through her whole phase. Now don't think because you've been, quote, hitting it right that she hasn't had a shitload of dicks before you. I know a lot of you are saying, hey man, the past is the past, and I ain't worried about her past, and that's fine. And that's cool if you're not worried about her past, but one crucial thing about a woman's past, especially her sexual past, it can determine how she is with you right now. A lot of ways her past is important because everything that happened in her past pretty much is the reason why she is the way she is today. And let me just put this disclaimer out there. I am not a dating coach. If you disagree with anything I'm saying, that's cool. It's just life lessons I thought I'd share, some experiences that I've heard of. I just thought I'd share it with you, especially with the young fellas. If you're 30 and younger, you probably think you know a whole lot of shit about life right now, but let me explain something to you. You don't. When you hit 35, when you hit 40, there's going to be some things coming up in your life that you're like, damn, what the hell just happened and how the hell do I get out of it? So, and just keep learning, just keep learning. So quick sidebar, before I get into this next story, you ever notice how women who are single mothers and they are raising children by themselves, their son or their daughter, they graduate high school, they graduate college, they get great career, they start families of their own. They just generally turn out to be great kids. And the mother always says, yep, I raised all by myself. Yep, I raised her by myself. That's why they're doing so well. But then when the child doesn't grow up to be the college graduate, the career-minded individual, they become on drugs or in jail or just the life that they didn't want them to have. The mother says, well, they didn't have a dad in their life. They dad wasn't in their life. It's like, man, why can't you just say you were a bad mother? I mean, if the child ended up doing great, you take all the damn credit. Yeah, I raised her all by myself. But if the child ends up doing horrible, you say, well, they dad wasn't in their life. It's kind of the same with these young women. The first thing they do is they run back to, well, what about the relationship with their father? How's the relationship with their father? Sometimes it's not always the father not being in their lives. Sometimes their father being in their lives could have a horrible impact. I mean, their fathers could be molesting his daughter. So just thought I'd throw that out there real quick. But the next story I want to talk about, I was having a conversation with this woman that I'm dating, and she's telling me about how she and some co-workers, they went to this strip club event. It wasn't a strip club that they went to, but they did have strippers at this regular nightclub for some event. I don't know the name of the event, but this happened years ago. So she tells me how there were some women there who, they were gobbling down on the strippers' dicks, like a lot of women do, right there in the club, just gobbling down, sucking them down, right? And how she was just shocked at what was going on. I'm sure in her mind, she was thinking, I do declare, what has befallen this fine establishment? I am so shocked. But anyway, after she told me about how other women were chowing down on some dick meat, I listened for a second, I paused, and then I asked her, I said, well, how many dicks did you jump on that night? Of course she got angry. So she says, well, I'm not even gonna dignify that with an answer or something like that. I don't remember exact words. And of course, I could see that she was angry that I had even asked. And I was angry that she was angry about me asking. So I forgot how we ended the conversation, but we eventually moved on to something else. But it just got me thinking, do women really think that men are that naive? Do women think that they can tell a man anything and we're just supposed to believe that shit? I mean, it's not like you had a ladies' night at church or a ladies' night with board games. You were right there with the rest of these women in the same club, drooling over the same men. You knew what you were there for. You weren't there to read Deuteronomy. You were looking at Dickonomy, you know? And you were probably talking about yourself when you were describing how other women were on the dick meat diet, or projecting, as some people say. I mean, I know she's been through her whole phase, just like every other woman in the United States. You know, what pissed me off is she really thought that I couldn't imagine her being a hoe. I mean, how dare I even imagine her with all types of dicks in her mouth? How dare I? You know, it's funny how women like to criticize other women who are hoes, or at least these women pretend to criticize other women that are hoes. You see, with women, they'll criticize other women who are hoes even though the one that's doing the criticizing is a hoe. For an example, let's say a woman had 5 guys run a train on her. She'll look at the next hoe like, well, at least I didn't have 10 guys run a train on me. The woman that has 10 guys ran a train on her, she'll say, well, at least I didn't have 20 guys run a train on me. That would be so nasty. The woman that has 20 guys run a train on her, she'll say, I'm nothing like the girl who had 50 men at one time. So you see where I'm going with this. So the root of my anger with this woman that I was dating is that, I mean, why be condescending to women who are in their whole phase? And why are you acting like you've never been through your whole phase? Another woman who hasn't experienced half the men that you've experienced might look at you and go, well, damn, you did all them men? Yeah, you are trying to pass yourself off as some kind of sexual saint or something. I mean, you may not have had 20 dicks in one night, or 20 dicks in 1 week, or maybe even 20 dicks in your life, but don't pretend like you have not been through your whole phase. And don't be condescending to women who have been through their whole phase or going through their whole phase. And like I said before, this message is really for the young fellas, especially if you're 30 and younger and you're dating or you're thinking about marriage. Unless your girlfriend was a virgin when you met her, there's a 95% chance that she went through her whole phase. Or she might be going through her whole phase when you two met. You know, when I say a virgin, I mean a real virgin. A lot of folks don't know that there are different types of virgins, you know. I learned this many, many years ago. There are different types of virgins. Can you believe that? You got the real deal virgins. You know what the real deal virgin is. You know, that's a woman that hasn't had sex in any form whatsoever. She hadn't had anal sex. She hasn't had oral sex. She hasn't given any hand jobs. She haven't grabbed any balls. Didn't have any balls in her mouth. A complete virgin. Because there are women who claim to be virgins, but boy, have they had plenty of experience. See, in their mind, they're virgins because they've never been penetrated vaginally. So they say, yeah, I'm a virgin. I'm saving that hole for my husband. But man, those other holes, that butthole, that mouth hole, they've been getting some work. You ever heard of women who swear up and down that they're virgins, but they have all types of diseases and STDs, you know, herpes, gonorrhea, and some of these women even have HIV, but they swear up and down that they're virgins. So I'm just warning you fellas, these women, they're not virgins, obviously. I don't care if she hasn't been vaginally penetrated, she's still been fucking and sucking like crazy. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with what they're doing, but I think it's wrong to consider yourself a virgin when you're really a hoe who's had all their holes plugged except for one. So to wrap up this happy video or whatever podcast, this young lady I was dating, she thought that she would impress me by, you know, looking down on other women and being condescending to other women who are basically enjoying their lives, hopefully as single women. I'm pretty sure some of them were married, but she can't pretend that she's never had her whole phase. She's not going to pretend with me that she's never had her whole phase. Another quick side note, if you ever hear women talk about, yeah, I've been going through my experimental phase, she's talking about her whole phase. She says, I'm trying to find myself. She's talking about her whole phase. If she says, I'm just not ready for a relationship, guess what? She's in her whole phase. A lot of women who say that they're single, if they look good, somebody's fucking them. They may not have a boyfriend, but they got dick on duty. So anyway, thanks for taking time out of your day and listening, and hopefully some of this jibber jabber made some sense to you if you made this far to the video. By the way, the last video had a shirt on the screen that was a young lady had designed, and she asked me to post it for her on my video. And so I did. And I just want to thank everybody that came through. I mean, it was like an overwhelming response. She was very happy. She couldn't believe it. She was crying on the phone when I was talking to her about the huge response of folks that bought the last shirt. So if you're interested in the shirt that's on the screen now, link is in the description. And once again, I appreciate you listening. Whatever you're doing, watch out for them hoes. Peace.